Hi there, and welcome back to the latest edition of the Aroundtable. I'm your host, Steven, and today I'll be talking about one of my favorite double albums in my record collection. Years ago, back in the day when we bought records in record stores, double albums were held by some people in high regard. Some people didn't like them. I know record companies all the time used to complain because apparently it was much more expensive to produce and create double albums than regular albums. And it also would cost the consumer a lot more money. So I remember back in the day paying sometimes 40 bucks in the 80s for an album. And you took a gamble because you go, are all the songs good? So some people saw it as a cash grab from the record company saying, well, if we have a popular artist, and they release a double, we can get double the money off this. And some fans are going, is it just an artist being overindulgent? Which could be true. Sometimes it's just an artist needs that freedom and that space to let his vision breathe over the scope of two albums or two CDs or whatever the case may be. So whatever your stance is on it, I saw it always as I was always intrigued by it. Like, why? How did this happen? Is there some sort of message to it? Is there something other that I'm not seeing right away? And I was always curious when I heard a group is coming out with a double album. I was wondering, so all the songs are good. What are they trying to say? Was it necessary? Sometimes it was, sometimes it wasn't, sometimes it was a mess, sometimes it was a masterpiece. But if I'm gonna have to pick double albums, I have to mention this one. This was my first purchase from the Beatles, and it was the White Album. This came out November 22nd, 1968, 6 days before my birthday. So no, I didn't buy it when I was first born, but I always gravitated to double albums. I don't know why. I always thought it was the black sheep of a recording artist's discography. Like, why would they need it? As I mentioned, why would they need it? Is it necessary? Did they have that much material? There was always that curiosity factor for me when I was younger. And the Beatles being one of the biggest bands on the planet, and the most popular of all time, I had to search this out. And I said, okay. And I remember growing up listening to this folk song called Rocky Raccoon that at the time my brother-in-law played for me, and I couldn't believe it was a Beatles track, sung about a raccoon, and it was catchy as all heck. And I said, "Where is this from?" Like, and he goes, "The White Album," and I'm like, "The White Album? Well, I've heard of Revolver, I've heard of Sergeant Pepper, the White Album. Let me take a look at this." So I picked it up and loved it. It is, as they say, there is an eclectic selection of music. There's rock songs, pop songs, folk, country-ish. It's all over the place. And I think the shortcomings is that it is at times a little experimental. So if you're used to the Beatles delivering their hooks and their choruses and their 2 minute songs, this can be, I guess, at the time when it was released, is a stretch for a listener. But by the time I got it, I've been hearing so many different things that I was kind of looking forward to it. So that being said, there are so many great songs on here. I mean, I'm going to say back in the USSR, the obvious choices. Dear Prudence, I think is phenomenal. Glass Onion, Ola Di, Ola Da. What else did I like on here? While My Guitar Gently Weeps, obviously, is a no-brainer. Happiness is a warm gun. I think took many years before people started appreciating that. I'm So Tired is great. Blackbird, Rocky Raccoon, I Will, I think, is an underrated gem in the Beatles discography. Man, I think Rick Springfield covered it and he heard it too. And this is an underrated track, in my opinion. Birthday, I love. Your Blues, excuse me. Sexy Sadie, Helter Skelter. And I'm even going to like Good Night, the album closer from Ringo Starr. Great vocal performance there. A lot of tracks. Some, of course, some I take off. Sometimes, and I put this on my. I won't put my MP3 player, and I took off a couple of tracks. But still, overall, there's so many songs. I think what people didn't like about it is, like I said, very eclectic. It kind of does veer off the path of the Beatles creating these earworms. There is a little bit of them pushing their musicianship and their writing skills and going to different directions. And it is a very, when it's a Paul McCartney song, when it's a John Lennon song, when it's a Harrison song, and it's a Star song. Very individualism on this album. These are four distinct guys now, as opposed to the Beatles. It is Paul, John, George, and Ringo are individuals on here. And I think that's what bothered a lot of fans in the beginning and what has kind of hurt this album. It's not, I think a lot of people don't see it anymore as a Beatles album, but as solo tracks from four talented individuals. I just took it as there's a lot of great songs on here that on my playlist, there's like 10 songs off here. So as one of my favorite double albums, I'm gonna have to recommend the Beatles, the White Album. I urge you to search this out if you have not heard about this album. I can't believe it unless you're living under a rock, but search this out, listen to it once, and yes, there are some songs that you'll kind of go, but they were trying to push themselves and go in different directions, and yeah, a couple of avant-garde tracks on here, but there's a lot of standout material, and I still say some people are still discovering it now. I think it took like 30 years to people to get into Happiness Is a Warm Gun, and I Will is a great little acoustic number that deserves to be heard a lot more. But that's me. You let me know what you think. You've heard of this album, you like this album, you think it's a mess. Some people call it a gigantic mess, and I understand it. There's a lot of material on here. You let me know what you think. Share your thoughts with us. We'd love to hear from you. I'll try to post a couple of songs down below. I'd love to hear from you. This is Steven with one of my favorite double albums in my collection, and I hope it's one of yours. And I'll be seeing you soon. Ciao.